We can now go across to France 24's Andrew Hilliar standing by in Jerusalem. Andrew, how are Israeli officials responding to this international condemnation?
Well, Delano, as you mentioned there, pressure growing around the world on Israel to carry out a thorough investigation into what happened yesterday morning in northern Gaza. We've heard a condemnation from several countries. We've heard the UN, EU, France, Germany all calling for a probe into that incident. Hamas holding Israel entirely responsible for those deaths. Now, with regards, of course, to reaction here, there hasn't been a massive amount of political reaction. That's simply because most politicians, if not all politicians, are siding with the IDF's version of events, and that is the army insisting that the majority of people who died yesterday in Gaza died in a stampede. They were either crushed, trampled on, or run over by supply vehicles, the army says. The army also saying that it only opened fire, aiming for the legs at people who it deemed a threat to its own soldiers. Now, there has been a little bit of reaction. We did hear yesterday from Israel's far-right Minister of Security, that's Itamar Ben-Gvir, and he said that in his opinion, the army should stop organising aid deliveries to northern Gaza because he claims it was putting soldiers' lives at risk.
Wow. Let's talk about something else, Andrew, because since the 7th of October, we have seen an uptick in violence in the West Bank with Israeli settlers. In recent weeks, Israeli settlers have been blocking aid convoys that are badly needed in Gaza from getting in. Yesterday, some even managed to breach an entrance point.
Yeah, that's right, Delano. So yesterday, it happened at the Erez crossing. That's a crossing from Israel into Gaza at the northern part of the Gaza Strip. Dozens of far-right settler protesters broke through the Erez checkpoint. They got reportedly past IDF soldiers and made it 500 meters into Gaza. Now, that was before they were stopped by soldiers, but not before they had time to put up some makeshift structures. Now, these are very controversial activists. They're calling for the resettlement of the Gaza Strip after the war. Of course, you'll remember back in 2005, Israel evacuated 22 settlements that were inside the Gaza Strip as part of its unilateral withdrawal. Now, there are some protesters like these activists calling for the resettlement of the Gaza Strip after the war, but Benjamin Netanyahu has insisted that it's not part of his government's plan to re-establish settlements in Gaza after the war.
Thank you very much for that, Andrew. Andrew Hilliar reporting there for us from Jerusalem.